What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, it looks like undefeated junior middleweight Australian superstar title contender Tszyu, 21 wins, no losses, no draws, 15 wins by way of knockout, 27 years of age, 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach, is going to get his wish now, okay? Tszyu, he was initially the WBO mandatory World Boxing Organization junior middleweight mandatory challenger for former junior middleweight WBO world champion Argentinian star boxer Brian Castano, okay? But we know Brian Castano, he just lost in a massive undisputed showdown to Jermell Charlo, okay, in which he was knocked out in the 10th round of their fight. And Tszyu, he took step-aside money to allow that highly anticipated undisputed rematch of the first fight that took place and ended in a draw. Tszyu, he took step-aside money. Now, Jermell Charlo created history. He became the first junior middleweight, 4 major sanction belt, lineal undisputed champion. So, with that said, Tszyu and Jermell Charlo are now going to fight more than likely in December. Jermell Charlo, 35 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 19 big wins by way of knockout, 32 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 73-inch arm reach. Tszyu was at the fight. We know Tszyu, he got into it with Jermell Charlo. His, the reporter from Australia got into it. Tszyu's manager, Jermell Charlo, even got into it with the Australian reporter. He shoved, So with that said, now they have agreed. It's official. Jermell Charlo, Tszyu have agreed to a contract. The only thing holding up the official announcement and the date is the most highly anticipated undisputed showdown in the 4-belt era between undefeated, unified 3-belt welterweight world champion, superstar boxer who is widely considered by many to be top 2, if not number 1, best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Earl the True Spence Jr., who has 28 wins, no loss, and no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. He happens to be, a very close friend of Jermell Charlo, and they have the same trainer and 2-time trainer of the year, well-renowned trainer, future Hall of Famer Derrick James, okay? But that said, Errol Spence is going to be facing off against undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the number 1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Crawford is 38 wins, no loss and no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. That makes for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, and that's the fight that everybody is waiting for to be announced. It's actually holding up the date for Jermell Charlo and Tszyu, okay? Jermell Charlo and Tszyu is a done deal, okay? But they don't want to clash, obviously, with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fight. And we know, like I told you guys, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, the date they wanted to target was September 17th. But 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who currently is the undisputed super middleweight world champion and widely considered the face of the sport of boxing, top 5 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, in Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is 57 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout, 31 years of age, 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. He's going to go into his highly anticipated trilogy showdown with his biggest rival and 2-time unified middleweight world champion, superstar boxer Gennady Triple G Golovkin. That's going to take place now September 17th, Mexican Independence Day weekend. Canelo Alvarez always historically fights on Cinco de Mayo weekend, then he historically fights on the second week in September, which is Mexican Independence Day weekend. Usually falls on the second week in September, right? So that's the date. Now it looks like Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence could be pushed back to October, right? October 22nd to be exact. Or it could be pushed back, to November. So the holdup with the announcement for Tszyu and Jermell Charlo is just that. They don't know the actual date that Jermell Charlo, that Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence going to fight, okay? If it's going to take place in October, right? October 22nd or October 29th. And then Jermell Charlo and Tszyu will go back to November. But if Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford goes into November, then Tszyu and Jermell Charlo will go into December, okay? So with that said, this is huge news. Tszyu is the son of the legendary Hall of Fame iconic Australian superstar boxer and Tszyu, okay? So he's the son of Tszyu, right? And, he has a huge fan base in Australia. So, Tszyu versus Jermell Charlo is going to be a big fight. It's the first defense of Jermell Charlo's undisputed titles, okay? And because of that, he took step-aside money to allow this fight to come to fruition, that being Tszyu, because he was the mandatory for Brian Castano, okay? But obviously, like I stated, Brian Castano, Jermell Charlo, they had their highly anticipated rematch, and Tszyu allowed it to take place. So now he got to get his just dues, and he's going to get it. Tszyu, he had his first fight here in the States against Terrell Gausha, in which he won the fight against Terrell Gausha, but not impressive fashion to me, okay? I actually thought that Tszyu was exposed, okay? If you ask me, I felt like Tszyu, he showed a lot of flaws in that fight, with Terrell Gausha. Now, Terrell Gausha is a very tough fight. He's a very tough customer. It went unanimous decision, but, Terrell Gausha, he dropped Tszyu, and he showed that when you're aggressive against Tszyu is not, very well rounded as far as being a counterpuncher. Okay, he's a good fighter. He's a good pressure fighter, but he's shown that, in my opinion, that if you back him up and you counterpunch him, he's not active. You render him inactive. Okay, he just won't let his hands go. So Terrell Gausha, I just felt like Terrell Gausha just wasn't active enough. He didn't let his hands go enough. I thought that he didn't commit to enough punches. And Terrell Gausha is 5'10" with a 73-inch arm reach. Okay, so he's a tall junior middleweight, long arms, and has boxing ability, right? But I just thought that he just didn't assert himself enough. He dropped Tszyu. He should have stayed assertive. He should have, he was changing levels. He was hitting Tszyu with clean punches. He just didn't commit to anything in the second half. I don't know if it was fatigue. I don't know if he started to feel the power and the pressure of Tszyu. But I saw a lot of flaws in the game of Tszyu, right? And so which I believe that, Jermell Charlo, who's way more well-rounded, I believe, and is a better fighter than Terrell Gausha, he's going to be more committed. He's fundamentally sound just like Terrell Gausha, but he's going to commit to his jab. He's aggressive. He has power. So Jermell Charlo, he could box on the back foot. He could box laterally. He could box coming forward. He can utilize the ring if he needs to. Okay, and he could be the aggressor. So, and he could be a good, very good counterpuncher. So with that said, I do believe Jermell Charlo will be successful. He's bigger than Tszyu. He's more athletic than Tszyu. Tszyu has power, but I believe Jermell Charlo's power is better than Tszyu. I believe his placement, his accuracy, and the punch that you don't see is the one that hurts you the most. So I think that Jermell Charlo's accuracy, his punch placement, his commitment to his craft, I think that's what's going to be the difference. His ring IQ, he's not going to fade in the second half of the fight like Terrell Gausha did. And when he gets Tszyu hurt, excuse me, when he gets Tszyu hurt, he's going to close the show, okay? And he just has way more facets to his game. Tszyu, in my opinion, he was very vanilla, okay? Excuse me. He was very vanilla against Terrell Gausha. Now, this was his first fight in the States. Now, maybe this was a situation where, he was a little bit, stage fright, or, the pressure, being in the States was his first fight. Who knows? But I do know this. He didn't perform like, expected, right? The expectations thrust upon Tszyu is huge, and I didn't see that, okay? I actually thought that Brian Castano, who's 5'7" with a 67-inch arm reach, I thought he was far more, effective with his pressure than Tszyu was. I thought Tszyu's pressure is very vanilla, okay? The fact that Terrell Gausha, he was using the jab to the body, coming back up top with the right hand, hiding the right hand with the jab to the solar place, feinting the jab up top and coming with the straight right hand, and it was clipping Tszyu. Brian Castano is way more crafty in his approach to, hiding his punches and his awkwardness and his pressure. Tim Tszyu's pressure is very vanilla. I believe that Jermell Charlo will easily understand what Tim Tszyu is trying to do from the opening round. His ability to be lateral, to fight on the back foot, his versatility is going to be too much for Tim Tszyu. And I think that he's going to beat Tim Tszyu. So it looks like it could possibly be in November or December. It's based upon what date we're going to get Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But this is huge news. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.